The Board of Directors, elected committees, specially invited guests, staff, and members. The year 2020 was a challenging year for all. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the service delivery methods had to change, whether we liked it or not. Some of the main challenges faced by the credit union were the transition from face-to-face interaction to digital interaction, the mitigation of cyber crime risk and regulatory risk in this new digital environment, the methodologies used to allow for a smooth transition for both staff as well as members. In spite of all these challenges, the Board of Directors, committees, management, and staff all committed to ensuring the members receive quality service. I will now hand you over to the General Manager to give you an update of the credit union's financial performance.
Good day, Board of Directors, elected committees, specially invited guests, staff, and members. The objective of this presentation is to summarize the financial statements, highlight the relevant PERLS ratios, and to share the dividend declared for 2020. 2020 has indeed been a challenging year. However, in spite of the challenges, the credit union achieved a surplus of $13.2 million in 2020. Operating revenue was $23.7 million, the highest recorded. Operating expenditure was $10.5 million. Other comprehensive income, which was made up of revaluation gains on investments, amounted to $163,000, resulting in a total comprehensive income of $13.4 million. The total income of the credit union is comprised of three major components: loan interest income, investment income, and other income. Loan interest income for 2020 was $19.3 million, an increase of 6.6% or $1.2 million over 2019, which was $18.1 million. This increase was mainly attributable to the enhanced loan due diligence, which resulted in loans being serviced as per the loan agreement, recoveries being made in 2020 of over $1 million. Investment income received in 2020 was $3.9 million, a decline of 15.2% or $600,000 over 2019, which was $4.6 million. The main reason for this was due to non-receipt of income under equity investments. Other income, made up of gain on foreign exchange, rental income, and miscellaneous income, totaled $481,000. There was an increase of 46.4% in 2020 in the other income category due to the rental of the Wilson Street property and revenue earned from Kuna. Expenditure for 2020 was $10.5 million, an increase of 26.5% over 2019's $8.3 million. The major expense items for 2020 as compared with 2019 were salaries and staff benefits of $3.8 million as opposed to 2019 $4.1 million, admin expenses of $3 million as opposed to $3.9 million in 2019, and expected credit losses of $2.3 million as opposed to a gain in 2019 of $1.2 million. It should be noted that every major expense item was lower in 2020 rather than 2019 except for expected credit losses. This provision was increased in 2020 in order to mitigate any losses that may occur as a result of the negative financial effects of the pandemic in 2020 and beyond. It should be noted that the write-back of $1.2 million in 2019 was taken to reserves. The statement of financial position is the next statement that we will look at, and it measures the assets and liabilities of the credit union. As at the end of 2020, there was an increase in investments of 8.3% between 2019 and 2020, moving from $74.4 million in 2019 to $80.6 million in 2020. Loans to member after allowance for expected credit losses declined by $8.3 million or 5.7% between 2018 and 2020. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, there was a countrywide shutdown. Schools were closed, the airport shut down, and events were even cancelled, resulting in a loss of jobs. The credit union saw as a result of this a 52% decline in loan applications and a 22% decline in approvals. Property, plant and equipment increased by 57.6%, increasing from $9.2 million in 2019 to $14.5 million in 2020. This was mainly attributable to the purchase and renovation of 5 McCarthy Street. Accounts receivable and prepayments increased by 204% due to an investment of $2 million, which matured on the 31st of December 2020, and payment was not received until January 2021. Total assets increased by 3.6% between 2019 and 2020. Accounts payable and accruals increased by 56.4%, attributable to furniture items for 5 McCarthy Street and the staff vacation leave. Members' deposits and shares increased by 6% and 2% respectively, a clear indication of members' confidence in the credit union. Members' equity showed an overall increase of 6.9% from $75 million in 2019 to $80 million in 2020 as a result of the 8% increase in retained earnings. PEARLS, this is a key measure of all the areas of the credit union's operations. Institutional capital to total assets represent how effective the financial structure of the credit union is. The benchmark for this ratio is 10%. The credit union achieved a ratio of 21.8% in 2020 and 20.1% in 2019. Net loans to total assets is, however, below the benchmark of the 70-80%, representing 42.9% in 2020 and 47.0% in 2019. This is clearly an area the credit union will be focusing on in 2021. These lower rates are a direct result of the decline in loans over the reporting period. Operating expenses to total assets, which represent how efficiently the assets are being utilized in direct relation to expenses, was 3.3% for 2020. The benchmark for this ratio is less than 10%. The credit union's delinquency to total loan portfolio is 9.72% for 2020 and continues to be a concern to the board of directors. These loans are being rescheduled, and recently the credit union has taken possession of 2 properties with the intention of selling to recover the debt. In conclusion, the directors met and declared a dividend rate of 3.5% with a value of $7.2 million. In addition, they declared an interest rebate of 5.5% or $788,000 and 6.5% or $113,000 on ordinary and demand loans. In summary, net surplus was $13.2 million, total income $23.7 million, operating expenses $10.5 million, total asset growth 3.6%, members' equity 6.9% increase, reserves an 8% increase, delinquency 9.72%, and dividend declared 3.5%. As we continue into 2021, the board of directors, management, and staff will continue to serve you, the members. Thank you.